Hi, I've been away for a week, but I'm back at it now. So today, I'm going to swap this water pump for this one. So we've got a nice new old stock AP Lockheed water pump and a new gasket to put on. Last time I was running this, we noticed there was water dripping out of the bottom, and when we had a look, it was looked like it was coming out of the water pump, out of the spindle where there's a gland seal there. So hopefully this will sort it out. So access is a bit tight really for showing you what we're doing, but we'll have a go. I ain't got a new fan belt yet. This one must be at least 10-year-old. I'll probably get, I'll get a new one, but I'm not putting that on today. I'll just put the old one back on for a minute. It's dead quick to change. I'll show you on one of my other engines what we're doing, because I've got one that's not in car, so we'll go and have a look at that just so you can see exactly what we're doing. So this is one of my other engines that's not in the car at the minute, obviously. But it just means I can show where the fixings are and things. It shouldn't be a difficult job. I couldn't remember what it looked like when I was thinking about it earlier. I was worried that we might have, well, suppose we have really. We've got steel bolts going into aluminium castings. So sometimes you get bimetallic corrosion there where they seize up and they're really difficult to get out, but hopefully we'll not have that. See how this one comes off actually. They're really tight, so I don't think this is going to be an easy job, but we'll see. Now they're really stuck solid on this one, so who knows how that one will be. We're going to have a go, but I'm hoping it's not going to come to it, but we might end up having to take radiator out and all that business just to get better access and maybe get some heat on it and stuff. I've had this before with aluminium castings and steel bolts. They're a nightmare. With this Maestro, I had the thermostat housing. I ended up having to smash it all off, the alley casting, and then once I exposed the steel bolts, I got mole grips on and managed to get them shifted, but it really was difficult. So one of the good things about having that engine on side is I know exactly what spanners I need. I've had a quick look over it, and it's an 1/2 inch, and I think it was a 7/16 AF. So because of age of the thing, it's not got, as far as I know anyway, I don't think it's got any metric nuts and bolts on it. They're all AF sizes. I don't think there's any Whitworth on it. It's not old enough for that, but yeah, looks like I can do it with just 2 spanners. In theory, we'll see. While we're here, I know in one of the other videos someone was on about spanners and stuff, and I'll just show you a couple of these bits. So I do keep an eye on eBay for quality gear coming up, and I do like collecting bits and pieces, but yeah, these are some of them. So this is a new old stock set of Bedford open end spanners, all AF sizes. These are a bit older. These were just the ones when it was just Bedford, and these are from when Spear and Jackson took them over. But they're just too nice to use. That's the trouble with it. When you've got something of that age, you feel like I don't really want to use them, and I've got plenty of other spanners that I can go at without sort of messing these up, and they're just nice to look at really. And this one, another really good Sheffield brand, Gordon Tools. So I picked them up really cheap on eBay years ago, but again, offset ring spanners, and I don't think they've ever been used, and they're in immaculate condition. It just seems a shame to mess them up really, all in box. But it seems stupid really, buying tools and not using them. They're there if I want to use them, but I have got others that I can go at. Those are my Bristol, well they're all Whitworth ones, and then I've got in my tool tray. I've got a load of other ones, so I've just been in and picked these out. These are brittle ones, like I say, 1/2 inch and 7/16. So that's one of my dad's spanners, that, because they all got marked up with red tape. Yeah, anyway, we'll put these to the test and we'll go and see if we can get that water pump off. So first thing we're going to try and do is get, this should be easy, I'm saying it should be, but watch, it won't be. We're just going to try and get the pulley wheel off of it. Right. I think we've got all them slackened off now. They're it was a bit awkward, but I've done it by just retightening them and then slackening them off again. The ones that were originally slackened off are tightened back up slightly, and then use them once they were tight, is able to lever the other one off of them. So that'll come off now. Slacken off the alternator bracket down there. That's how you tighten the fan belt up. I'm gonna have to slacken that off anyway, I think. Right, that's got that off. Take this belt off. It don't look in bad nick, to be fair, but I'll probably get a new one and then I can just chuck this in the boot. It'll do as a spare, an emergency one. Right, so now we've got this pulley wheel off, we can have a go, just see how bad these are. So I was going to go on with spanners, but they're clearly really tight, so I thought we'll have a go with small breaker bar. That's just going to round edges off of it. Can't quite get a decent. That one's gone. I think someone's given this one a bit of aggro before. The edges are not quite square, so that might be a bit awkward. That one's come out all right. That one has. It's just one more. Just there. Yeah. So there's this awkward one now. Feels a bit loose on the 1/2 inch one, and then the 7/16 one it's too small for. I'm gonna have some trouble with that. See if I've got a hexagon socket, that might go on all right. There's no easy, is there? I've not. Well, I think I've got some metric hexagon sockets, but I ain't got any imperial ones. I'm just going to lather it with WD-40 because I can see this ain't going the right way. So I had a bit of a brainwave. I remembered I got my impact gun socket set, and I know they're hex drive. They are metric, so this is 13mm. That's an 1/2 inch AF bolt, and 1/2 inch AF, something like 12 point something millimetre, so it isn't ideal because this is a bit bigger, but because it's an X socket, it probably will grip it. And what I'll do is it'll round edges off if it does come out, but it's already rounded anyway. I'm just going to get a spare bolt off one of my other engines that I've got in garage. If we get it out, I think it'll, oh, something's going, yeah. Right, so we've got all them slackened off, so what we're going to do now is drop up water out at cooling system, because obviously when we take the water pump off, all that will start coming out anyway, and we're going to try and take it out in a controlled way. So take cap off it, radiator. There's actually no water left in that. I only topped it up the other day, so hopefully it's just come out of the water pump and not elsewhere. But I guess we'll find that out. So I'll put the bowl in there and just take off the bottom hose out of the radiator. Some do Jubilee clip. Love it, radiator cap, slow it down a bit. That's probably going to get me into bother now. Rusty water all over the floor, so we're going to have to swirl that off before it causes any damage. So just taking these out all the way now. So just taking these bolts out, and I can see why these have come out easier than they were going to do on that other engine I've got. Last person that's done it has put a load of copper slip on it, which is what I'd do. That's why they might have been tight and I had trouble with that bolt that was slightly rounded, but fundamentally they've not done the bimetallic corrosion thing where they sort of weld themselves together. Because it's had the copper slip on it, that's been really good. I'm just going to try and break this off now. I say break it off, it's just a case of freeing it because sort of held on by the gasket material, and the instinct gasket stuff. Just a case of wobbling it till it comes free. Obviously there's plenty more water coming out of there. And that's the old pump. I don't know if you can refurbish these or out. If anyone knows if you can or you can't, let us know in comments. But on face of it, it doesn't seem to have a lot wrong with it, but it was leaking out. I'm sure it was leaking out through the gland there. Or if it wasn't that, it was leaking out of the gasket, but it's definitely coming out of this area. Anyway, we'll clean it up, put the new pump on, and we'll see how it goes. So now we're at the point where I've just dried all the water out that were on the inside of that cavity. It's all part of the timing chain case. So I'm just going to use an old Stanley knife blade, flat, just to scrape away all the remnants of the old gasket that's on there. Obviously not digging it in or anything, because we don't want to create an uneven surface for water to get out of. I'm just going around cleaning that up. So I've just been wrestling with another engine I've got down there, an old 1300 one. I've managed to get a decent bolt out of the water pump on that. So that'll replace the one that's a bit rounded that I just took off, the awkward one, just ready for next time we do it. before I get to putting the new water pump on, it's going to be a bit awkward. So I'm just going to get these bolts ready by lathering them in this copper slip. Unfortunately I have a little brush in it that's slipped down and gone all over, but worse things has happened. So I'm just going to prep these ready. I don't want to be doing this while I'm trying to avoid getting instant gasket everywhere. Right, so cleaned all the housing up, got the new pump, comes with the original paper gasket, but it's been looking at the instructions for that and it recommends putting some grease on this before mounting it. Well, I think that's only really about making it stay in place, because I think the grease used to stick it on, kind of. But I've done a few of these and this is what I always use. I still put the paper gasket in, but I put this instant gasket paste on as well. I think it's just silicone, to be fair. Water pump and thermostat housing gasket maker. So I'm going to smear some of that onto the surfaces, and then we can hopefully get that mounted on. So that's ready to go on now. So I've put a coating of it on both sides of that paper gasket. So it's got to work out which way around it goes. It's got a locating pin in top. So I'll try and get these two bolts in at the top first. Right, I've got that aligned on. So let's get bolts going in. Just secure our first few turns. Just want to get round. Don't really want it pulling away again now, because otherwise I'll make a mess of it. Alright, doing opposite corners, otherwise I'll end up twisting it and it won't seal very well. Right, they're all in reasonably tight. We're just going to go around, nip them all up, make sure they're all reasonably similar tightness. Sound, so that's on now. All looks good. Just got to refit the pulley wheel. Put the fan belt back on, retighten the alternator to get the right strength on it, on the what's the word, the right, not strength, the right stretch on the belt. I can't think of the proper tension, the right tension on the belt. Then I'll put the bottom hose back on and then we'll fill it back up. I'm just going to fill it up with water though, so I'll put water in it rather than antifreeze, run it for a couple of times. Then I'll drain it all back out again. Then we'll probably, because I'm thinking about changing these heater hoses, putting some silicone ones on it. So if I do that, I'm not filling it up with antifreeze and then throwing it all away. So we'll just run it some water through, and it does it good anyway. It gives it a good flush that way. Couple of flushes through with water, gets rid of any sludge that's in there. Yeah. So I'll crack on, I'll put all this back together, pull this back on next. Right, so I've got the belt back on, pulley wheel back on, obviously belt's back on, and what I've been doing is just tightening it up. So basically you just slacken off the adjusting bolt on the top and push down hard on the alternator body, and it swings it down. That's got a decent amount of tension on that now, so we just then need to tighten it back up. Nice and tight. Then I'll put this bottom hose back on and swing that Jubilee clip round so we can actually get it back on again. Good long screwdriver. I'll just nip that up and then it can be refilled. So I'm just looking again at this gasket stuff I've put on, and it says here allow 24 hours to fully cure before filling with fluids or returning to service. So might have to wait before I fill that up. Might as well do what it says on the instructions. I don't know, it's a funny one because it's got a proper gasket in there. That stuff's really just a bit of belt and braces to fill any little gaps up with. So I don't know, I'll stick to what it says, and I'll not fill it up with water just yet. But one of the things I was going to do was put the wheel trims back on that car. So I've still got the original wheel trims, so we'll put them on and we'll see what you think to them. So someone were on about looking at original features of the Mark 1 and the Mark 2. Well, these were the original wheel trims that came off this one. This is the Mark 2. So I just thought, I'd never really liked them, so I used to just paint the wheels black and put the hubcap on them. But I'm going to go back to original, so we'll have the original trims back on as well. See what they look like. To be fair, I quite like them now. Look alright. So, while I've been putting wheel trims on, it just struck me to have a go with these. I've had them years, but I didn't know whether I trusted them or not. They're old-fashioned tyre gauge, pressure gauges. So basically you put them on the valve, press them on, and it shoots out that little stick, and you read off what pressure's in. So I've got two here, decent ones. One's made by Dunlop, made in England, and this one's PCL, made in Sheffield. So we'll just see whether or not they read the same. I thought that'd be a good test for a start. I have used them before years ago, but when they were probably newer. I think that was my dad's, and I think that was my granddad's. They've ended up in my toolbox. So anyway, this is the PCL one. Let's have a go with this. Right. So that doesn't do anything. That one did though. And it's reading 32 PSI on that. I don't know why this one isn't working. So the Dunlop one seems to do something. I pity this PCL one won't work. No. Oh well, that sounds about right though. 32 is probably what we put in it. So we'll get a more modern pressure gauge, one of those ones that works with your cigarette lighter, and see what that says. So we'll have a go with this. I'm not saying this is accurate, but it's another good test. That's come up with 29.5. I think it just went up to 30 for a second, but yeah, well, we'll call it 30, round it up. And this original one, maybe if we do it out horizontally. Yeah, 31. It's not a million miles out though. That's quite useful really. Right, it's had a few hours drying. I'm not leaving it 24 hours. At the end of the day, I think the idea of that stuff is that you can use it as like your main gasket, and you put quite a big bead of it round and it seals stuff up. But I've only really used that just as a bit of a thin skim, just to fill any minor imperfections in the surfaces. So I'm reasonably happy with what we've done. The bit that's squeezed out has gone off, that's not a problem. So we're going to fill it up. I said before, we're just going to put water in it. Not bothering with antifreeze yet, because I'm going to run this through a few times, and eventually, maybe sometime next week, I'll drain it all out and put the proper stuff in. But I'm also looking at them heater hoses like I said before, and I'm just thinking it benefit from some of them silicone ones you can get. I've also got this Z piece in the middle. This is sort of the bypass arrangement. I noticed it's all like corroded out inside that hose, so I don't really want to mess about with that too much at the minute. I've got a spare one of them, and if I get some new hoses then I could swap them in. And also this has had some sort of repair done to it in the past, which I'm not sure about. It has been like that for years and it's never been a problem. To be honest, I wouldn't mind driving it around locally like it is now, but I think realistically, if I was to take it any distance, it could probably do with just upgrading now. Yeah, this fuel hose, I tend to think you're better replacing them every couple of years, especially since you get this E10 fuel that's rubbish. It just makes them go brittle, and certainly that's been on. It's probably been on a few years. It's date stamp 2016. So that kind of ties up really, because I stopped using it sort of 5 years ago. So it's probably been on around 4 years, something like that. So it's probably done its time. Again, before it was using that E5 fuel, but now it's this E10 stuff. It's really important to change them every couple of years. Even if it's the correct hoses, I still think they go a bit brittle. So I'll fire this up now, so water pump runs and hopefully fills the matrix up and stuff. See if we get any airlocks out of it, top it up. Right, it started running, but dropped a little bit already. Putting the heater on. Make sure that's all running through. It definitely wants flushing out. There's all sorts of rubbish coming through. It looks like like a bit like aluminium corrosion. Some smoke coming up there, I don't know what that's all about. I think it's got a bit of an oil leak from round the rocker cover. It's going onto the exhaust, so that's probably something else I now need to look at. Drops the water down there a bit. So what's happened there is it's opened the thermostat, and that's like let a load of water around the block. So it's important to keep an eye on it. Rocker cover seems tight, but I can see it. It's there's oil bubbling away along the top of the cylinder head. I don't think it's a problem, it's just a bit annoying. Probably just needs to burn off. Probably wants some engine cleaner on it, clean it off. Take it off now. Bit quieter. It's running nice though, and got both heater pipes, input and output are warm, so there's water's going through there alright. That's hot, radiator's hot. Obviously the bottom hose is going to be alright. Just do waiting and seeing the fan kick in just to make sure that's working alright. See what temperature it's at. good news is it don't seem to be leaking anymore, so that's been a result. Temperature gauge is halfway over now. So there's two temperature sensors on it. You've got the thermistor in the head and cylinder head, which is down there. That's the sensor that tells the dashboard how hot it is, just on the side of the cylinder head there. And then down here, that sensor down there is the switch. That's a thermistor, that's like an analog signal. That one down there is just a temperature sensitive switch, so when it gets to a certain temperature, the water in there, that should then switch that fan on. That smoking seems to have calmed down as well. It does run nice. There's not much noise from tappets, so they're alright, they don't need doing. We used to keep them pretty well at distance now. Mine put a new diaphragm in that carburettor. They've got a rubber diaphragm inside them. That probably benefit from changing. There's nothing wrong with it now, but it'd probably benefit from a new one. Just don't really want it breaking while we're driving it. Just want to make sure this fan works. See what temperature's doing now. Temperature gauge is moving over towards red, which is fairly normal for just letting it idle. It did used to work fine before, it should work again. Yeah, so you can see that fan's come on now, so all that's working well. That's something else ticked off. This isn't looking good though. There's a load of rusty water all over the drive, so I'm going to get into a bit of bother with the missus for that. I'll have to clean that up before I'm done. So that's it for today. I think I was quite successful really, got that water pump done. And a bit of a thing, but got these wheel trims sorted. I quite like how they look as well, they look decent, so they can stay on. Next thing really, I mean, I've got a bit more fettling on cooling system to do, and I wanted to get some of them silicone hoses if possible, but I don't know when I'll get them. Maybe next month, hopefully. Don't know what delivery times are like on them. I'll probably, I don't know, I fancy trying to sort this wing out next, because that's making it look real scruffy. But I'm a bit mindful, I still haven't been underneath it to check out whether it could be rotten underneath, I just don't know. So yeah, plenty more to go at, but yeah, give us a like and a subscribe if you liked it, and I'll come back and do some more.